The day my boss called me into his office to fire me, I was in the middle of closing the biggest client deal our company had seen in 3 years. I remember standing outside Richard's glass-walled office, watching him through the blinds as he typed on his phone, that familiar smirk playing on his lips. My portfolio was still warm in my hands. The Patterson Group had just verbally agreed to sign. 6 figures, minimum. "Come in, Claire." Close the door. I should have known then. Richard never asked anyone to close the door, unless he was about to do something he didn't want witnesses for. Let me back up. I'd worked at Morrison Consulting for 4 years. Started as a junior account manager, worked my way up to senior consultant. Richard Morrison, the owner, my boss, had hired me himself, said I had real potential. For a while, I believed I was building something meaningful there. 60-hour weeks were normal. I'd skip vacations to meet deadlines, answer emails at midnight, cover for Richard's mistakes in client meetings. He'd take credit for my strategies and board presentations, but I told myself that's just how corporate life worked. Pay your dues, eventually get recognized. The office was one of those modern, open floor plan spaces in downtown, all glass and exposed brick. Richard's corner office overlooked the whole floor. He liked that, liked watching everyone work. 3 months before he fired me, something shifted. We'd been at a conference in Boston celebrating a successful quarter. Richard asked me to grab drinks after the last session. I politely declined, mentioned I kept work and personal life separate. Nothing dramatic, just a boundary. But the next week, I noticed things changing. Small things. I'd get left off email threads I'd normally be included in. My ideas in meetings were suddenly not quite aligned with company vision. He started taking my client strategies and presenting them as his own more blatantly than before. I'd catch him watching me from his office sometimes, expression unreadable. I told myself I was being paranoid, that I was imagining things. I wasn't. "I'll get straight to it," Richard said that Tuesday morning, not even looking up at his computer. "We're restructuring, cutting costs. Your position is being eliminated, effective immediately." The air went out of the room. Eliminated? My voice sounded distant, like it was coming from underwater. "Richard, I just landed Patterson. And we appreciate that. Really." He finally looked at me, and there wasn't a trace of guilt in his eyes, just cold efficiency. "Samantha from the junior team can handle the follow-through. You'll get 2 weeks severance. HR will walk you out." 2 weeks. After 4 years of 60-hour weeks, of skipped holidays, of building his client base and making him look good. "This is about money?" I asked quietly. "It's business, Claire. Nothing personal." He turned back to his computer, already dismissing me. "Security will help you collect your things." Nothing personal. The words echoed in my head as I stood there, portfolio still in my hand, 6-figure deal still warm in my memory. Paul from security, who I'd chatted with every morning for 4 years about his daughter's soccer games, couldn't meet my eyes as he escorted me to my desk. The open floor plan meant everyone watched. 40 pairs of eyes tracking me as I packed 4 years of my life into a cardboard box. A coffee mug from Emma, the succulent that had somehow survived my care, framed photos. My hands didn't shake. I wouldn't give Richard that satisfaction as he watched from his glass office. But in my car, hands gripped white-knuckle tight around the steering wheel, the tears finally came. The first week was the worst. I'd wake up at 6 a.m. out of habit, reach for my phone to check work emails, then remember. The empty hours stretched endlessly. I rewrote my resume 24 times. Every rejection email felt like confirmation. Maybe Richard had been right. Maybe I was expendable. Emma came over most evenings with takeout. "He's a bastard," she said, not for the first time. "You know half that company's success is your work?" Doesn't matter now. But it would. I just didn't know how yet. What I didn't tell anyone, not even Emma at first, was that I'd been quietly building something for the past 2 years. My grandmother passed when I was 28 and left me $50,000. Instead of spending it, I'd started buying small rental properties. Nothing fancy, a duplex in an up-and-coming neighborhood, a small 2-bedroom near the university, and a renovated studio downtown. It started as a safety net. I'd seen too many people get burned by corporate loyalty. Now, unemployed with no prospects, those 3 little properties were the only thing keeping me afloat. 2 months after the firing, I met with Tom, my property manager, for our regular quarterly review. He mentioned over coffee, "There's an apartment complex for sale in Riverside. 4 units, good bones, needs work. Owner's retiring. Might be worth looking at if you're thinking about expanding." I wasn't. Money was tight, but something made me ask anyway. How much? The number he quoted was just barely within reach if I liquidated savings and took a loan. Risky, possibly stupid, but I went to see it. The building was a 1970s brick structure, tired but solid. The neighborhood was gentrifying, coffee shops replacing hardware stores. I could see potential where others saw problems. Standing in the empty second-floor unit looking out at tree-lined streets, I made a decision. I bought it. The next 4 months blurred together. Contractor meetings, permit applications, late-night budget spreadsheets. I painted walls, chose fixtures, staged units with Emma's help. Every wall I painted felt like covering up the memory of that glass office. The units rented within 2 weeks. All 4. I'd done it. 3 weeks later, Tom called. "Hey Claire, got a situation. Unit 3A, couple fell through, but I've got another applicant, very interested. Can you meet me there in an hour? Sending his info now." My phone buzzed. I opened the email absently, skimming the application while grabbing my keys. Then I stopped. Read the name again. Richard Morrison. My Richard. My former boss. The coffee mug nearly slipped from my hands. I called Tom back, trying to keep my voice steady. "The applicant, you're sure this is right?" "Yep." "Why?" "I know him. From before."
"Oh, yeah? Well, his credit's solid, income checks out. Works at some consulting firm now. Good references." After Tom hung up, I did what I should have done months ago. I researched. It took less than an hour to piece together. Morrison Consulting was failing. Not struggling. Actively dying. Bad investments, major clients leaving, a lawsuit from a former employee for unpaid commissions, articles in trade publications, rumors on industry forums. The company that had been thriving on my work was hemorrhaging money, and Richard had fired me to save costs. He was downsizing now, selling his Westbrook house, working as a junior consultant at a fraction of his previous salary. The irony was poetry. I sat there, laptop open, looking at his rental application. Something cold and precise settled in my chest. I texted Tom, "Schedule the viewing. I'll be there." Richard didn't recognize me at first. I'd changed my hair, traded corporate clothes for jeans and a blazer. I looked different, more myself. Tom introduced me as the property owner. I watched Richard's face cycle through confusion, recognition, then poorly concealed horror. "Claire?" "Richard. Small world." He recovered quickly, that corporate charm sliding back. "I had no idea you were in real estate now. This place looks amazing." "Thank you." Tom made himself busy, giving us space. Richard lowered his voice. "Look, about before. The application says you're downsizing. Selling your house?" His jaw tightened. "Market shift. Time to liquidate assets." "And the consulting work?" "Transitioning. Between opportunities." "Between opportunities." Corporate speak for unemployed. "Well, the unit's available first of the month. Rent's $2,400, first and last, plus security. I just need to verify current employment." Something flickered across his face. "The employment situation is in flux, but I can provide bank statements." "Company policy," I said sweetly. "Need to verify employment for all applicants." I'm sure you understand. I paused. It's just business. Nothing personal. His own words thrown back at him. The silence between us stretched like a wire pulled taut. I approved his application. Emma thought I was insane. Why give him the apartment after what he did? Because, I said, him paying me $2,400 every single month is better than any revenge I could dream up. But it was more than that. I included specific clauses in his lease. Standard terms, but enforced to the letter. Rent due on the first, late fees after the third. Maintenance requests in writing, quiet hours, proper notice for everything. Every rule Richard had never bothered reading when he was too successful to care. He moved in October 1st. November's rent was 3 days late. I'd charged the $75 late fee per Section 8.3 of his lease. He called, I let it go to voicemail. Claire, it's Richard. About the late fee, I had a banking issue. Can you waive it this once? I texted back, per lease agreement Section 8.3, late fees are mandatory. No exceptions. February's rent came with a heating complaint. I sent an HVAC technician within 24 hours, as legally required. Nothing was wrong. Richard just didn't understand his thermostat. I charged him for the false emergency call, as outlined in the lease. He started to understand the dynamic. Every month, Richard paid me nearly half his current income. Every month, I deposited that check and felt lighter. This wasn't about money. It was about power, the complete reversal of everything we'd been. He'd made me pack my things while he watched. Now I held the keys to his home. He'd cut me off with 2 weeks' notice. Now he needed my approval for everything. He'd called me expendable. Now I was essential. 6 months in, he requested a meeting. I need to discuss renewing the lease, he said. It doesn't expire for 4 more months. I know. I wanted to ask about flexibility on the rate increase. I'd sent the notice. Rent would increase $150 monthly upon renewal, below market rate. The increase is actually a good deal, I said calmly. Claire, my name sounded like a plea. I know I screwed up. I was wrong to fire you that way. I'm asking for a break here. This was it. The moment I'd fantasized about. Richard asking me for mercy. I could have twisted the knife, could have savored his desperation. Instead, I just felt tired. You told me it was business, nothing personal. This is the same thing, Richard. Costs increase. It's just business. I can't afford. Pride wrestled with desperation. Then you have 4 months to find alternative housing. I'm happy to provide a reference. You've been a mostly compliant tenant. The word compliant landed exactly as intended. He left without another word. Richard renewed the lease. He's still in Unit 3A. Rent arrives on the 1st every month, like clockwork. Morrison Consulting folded completely 6 months ago. The office space is a gym now. My property business has grown. 8 properties now. Emma joined as partner last year. We're building something real. I don't feel angry anymore when I think about Richard. Just grateful. Grateful he fired me and forced me to discover what I was capable of. He took my job to save money and protect himself. I took that pain and built an entire future. And every single month, he pays me for the privilege of a roof over his head. They say living well is the best revenge. Becoming your former boss's landlord runs a close second.